call this meeting to order.
Okay, so,
Yeah, we're up, aren't we?
just a minute.
Okay, welcome to our October 15th, 2024 meeting. I'm gonna call this meeting to order and ask Craig, would you pray for us?
Glad to. God, you are so gracious toward us, and your mercies are new to us every day. Father, you give us blessings that we don't deserve. Father, we think about all the many ways that you blessed our county, you blessed our community. You give us incredible leadership. Lord, you give us people who are skilled, who have incredible abilities, Lord, to help lead us, to help provide for us, to serve us, Lord. Those are all blessings we should never take for granted. Thank you for what you do for us. Father, I pray that you'll give these men what they need today, the wisdom they need, so that they can make good decisions. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. All right, we have public comments. Before we get to risk management, I've got a lady. Come to the podium, give us your name and address.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mary Hope Phillips. I'm at 1173 Barker Road, Pelagic. Here, because I got a notice saying that they wanted to have a trailer on the 12 acres that I've got. And they sent me a notice saying I had to have it moved within 15 days because there were covenants that said I could only have it there while I built my house. I bought this in 2020. Actually, January 21 is when I signed on it. Buying it with the trailer on the property for the reasons of living in the trailer. Eventually build a house, but not like anytime soon. So when I got this letter, that was in 21, it's 24. I just got the letter saying that I was only supposed to be there for 8 months. Well, I didn't know that it had covenants when I bought it. There's nothing in my paperwork about covenants. Like I'd have never bought it had I known I was only supposed to be there for 8 months because that wasn't my plan. So I don't know.
All right, let me,
Okay.
the guy over here that looks like attorney is the attorney. Explain to her
Yes, sir.
what happened.
Yes, sir. So this piece of property on Barker Road was divided by the original owner, Surratt, Mr. Surratt Properties LLC. And so when he approached the county about permission to subdivide the property into multiple parcels, we did what we normally do with our restrictive covenants. I was asked to put together a set of restrictive covenants that is signed on behalf of Mr. Surratt through the property, the Surratt Properties, and individually, and then it was signed by these folks: Jeffrey Moorhead, Jennifer Moorhead, Michael Skaggs, Sarah Skaggs. They all signed indicating their agreement because they had already purchased the divided parcels. I'm going to assume that Ms. Phillips bought from one or more of those individuals or from a successor to them.
I don't think so.
No, I didn't.
All right. So when you bought in 21,
It was from Justin Surratt.
okay, it was from Justin Surratt. So she bought a parcel that Mr. Surratt hung on to as ownership, but it was included as a part of the restrictive covenants.
I think
Yes.
I remember Justin Surratt had a piece that he was gonna keep for himself.
That's right.
I assume that 12 acres.
I'm assuming. And on my plot that I have in my sale, it says not in development
Okay.
on the plot.
Yeah, so that was how it was originally proposed. We did not agree with that, and we forced Mr. Surratt to include all of his property in it, which is why this set of covenants includes Mr. Surratt's signature and includes the parcel that he originally said was not in the development. It was put into the development. So you should have been told when you bought, you should have been told that the property was burdened with a set of restrictive covenants. Typically, the closing attorney, I don't know who helped close that transaction, or if there was an attorney, typically they will provide a copy of the restrictive covenants along with the deed. But at any rate, the covenants apply, and they apply to Ms. Phillips' parcel, and it prohibits the placement of a mobile home, except that they are allowed to have a mobile home there for up to a period of 8 months while a permanent dwelling is being constructed. So that's the way the covenants were drafted. That's what Mr. Surratt agreed to. And so those covenants apply to the property. And because they are of record, they were filed with the Chancery Clerk's Office in 2019. in book 2019 at page 11 to 19. And they were recorded on May the 28th of 2019. So it predates Ms. Phillips' purchase of the property. Her property is burdened with the covenants. And so that's where we stand legally. That's why the notification was sent. Hey, you can't have a mobile home there except for a period of 8 months.
So who put the mobile home there?
It was
It
there.
was
It's
there.
been there for years.
It-
It's been there.
I know, but
It was
Mr.
there.
Surratt put it there?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you bought it and it was already there?
The trailer was there, and it even says in my contract, mobile home is to remain on the property, period.
Right.
He had a renter actually in the property when I bought the land and the trailer, and said part of my contract was I had to give that renter 6 more months to find somewhere else to go before I moved in to the trailer.
All right,
So-
let's make this short.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
if the rest of the board agrees with me, let's give you 2 years to sell it,
Okay.
or build a house, or work something out with these, there may be like a conditional use that, but you've got neighbors that can't enforce the covenant. I mean, they can really bring forth,
Well, that was my other question. Was I'm wondering is because like I've been there for almost 4 years now. So like, why is this all of a sudden coming up like now?
some,
Wondering if somebody said something, like, did somebody like complain or?
I don't
'Cause, I mean,
know.
I could get it. Like, it's a nice trailer. It's not like dilapidated,
Yeah.
or it's very nice. So
if I remember, it sits.
no,
way
I have
off
a
the
friend of
road.
mine's niece who's just staying there because I didn't want the trailer being like, I didn't want it going down.
This is
So-
exactly what we didn't want to happen. It's why we had the conversation with Mr. Surratt. We made it clear, this area out here is transitioning into single-family dwelling, stick-built houses. And so we made it clear on the front end, the trailer is gonna have to go. Mr. Surratt agreed to that. It sounds to me like there's been a failure of communication. Mr. Surratt has not adequately communicated what's supposed to happen and what the expectation of the county is. So I think, Steve, your
Am I being
point
liberal
makes
enough?
sense. But a couple of years, if the board is willing to entertain that,
Yeah.
give her a couple of years
I don't
to
think
get
you
her
can see it from the
situation.
road. If I remember right, there's a lot of trees.
Or she could take legal action against.
Yeah, but that's still not gonna remove the covenants.
Can I?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
Like, that was my other question, because I wanted to know, like, now I've seen the plots and all that, I know where the covenants are applied to, but like, it's just us right there.
Yeah.
And then you've got trailers all the way down the road, and then before me, matter of fact, a year and a half ago, somebody just established a whole brand new trailer, right before you get to me. So I'm like, why is it, mine's gotta go?
it's,
So, I mean, I get it, I mean, I understand the
trying
whole
to-
thing, but,
we're trying to
Yeah.
make that end of the county
right,
just to where you're proud of it.
right,
And it's coming at you from both ends.
right.
If these guys agree with me, let's do 2 years. And if there's some legal stuff that you can do in that 2 years, welcome to do it. But in 2 years, if it's still there, we might be back in here,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
Keep
All
in
right.
mind, guys, that we don't allow subdivisions in the ag zone unless they meet very defined and specific requirements to be a rural subdivision. This does not. It cannot meet the rural subdivision regulations. Therefore, it's RE1. That's the way that the zoning classification is. We don't allow mobile homes in RE1. And all over this county, we see rezoning activity happening where it's going to RE1. Once we get into RE1, we don't allow mobile homes. Now,
Well,
there's,
when we allowed this, it was all ag. So on both ends of where you're talking about, half mile one way and half mile, is not RE1.
it's transitioning.
So just that
Yep.
one little thing is already
Yep.
one.
That's- I don't know, about 100 acres in there, but,
Okay.
okay?
Did I say, did you live in there personally yourself or?
Right now, no. I have a friend of mine's niece who is there. Like I said, for it not to dilapidate, so that it's maintained and kept up, and doesn't.
Hear me, guys.
Sorry, quit talking.
We do not want to see situations like this where it's single family and you got a trailer and it goes rental and it just stays rental. We anticipate that. You instruct me to stay on top of that. make sure we have restricted
Well, it
covenants
sounded
that
to me like
prohibit that.
Mr. Justin did not.
He did not.
He did not communicate that, okay? Now,
Well, he didn't
But the
abide by
attorney-
it himself.
No, he didn't, and I would have never bought it.
But your attorney should have, if you had attorney at the
Page purpose,
closing,
yeah.
should have caught that.
And they didn't either, so.
the covenants were of record. Why it was not disclosed is anybody's guess. We did what we needed to do. We put the covenants in place, we got all the required signatures, we defined the property it attached to, we recorded it in the land records. There's not anything else we can do. That puts the whole world on notice that that piece of property has covenants on it. You better familiarize yourself with it before you buy it. So I don't know how to do it any different than that, and I think it's magnanimous, Mr.
Okay.
President,
Well, listen,
that
I mean-
if we let her have some time to come into compliance,
Yes, sir.
that, to me, that's generous, and that I would advocate for that, to help her.
Okay.
Well, my thing is, instead of 2 years, 1 year. Because you're not living there. I mean,
Yeah, that was temporary though. That like they had a new baby and they just needed help for a minute.
I
So
understand.
I get it. Yeah, I understand.
All right,
are you good with 1 year?
if that's what the board wants.
I just hate, like I said, it's the attorney's fault for not catching it on the closing.
And Justin's for not revealing it.
Right.
Right.
You know, but still you pay the.
'Cause I'd
attorney
never bought
to
it.
do the title work and, you know, check that, you know, that's what they get.
Like, and I'd have never bought it. I know it. I would have even never bought it knowing that there were covenants too, because I got out in the country so that I could build what house I wanted, how I wanted. I would have never bought it, period, had I known that was the case. But, okay.
Do we need to take action on this?
No, sir, you just indicated that the administrative action that started, which is, we put her on notice that the trailer had to leave in 15 days. Y'all are withdrawing that, we're just notifying her, we're withdrawing the 15-day requirement. Y'all tell us what to substitute. How long do we need to monitor this?
I like to see it just 1 year
1 year.
and just review it again. And if,
All right, let's review it again in 1 year.
Okay.
but that,
So-
I mean, something's
If
gonna
it's,
have to.
if it's
really-
rental.
Yeah, that's,
In a
yeah.
year from
Well, a
now.
year's better than today. So- Okay, and I was in Jamaica when I got, my mom sent me the notice. I was like, it's the second, I have 13 days and I'm not even in country. So this is great. Okay. So will I get like a letter or something saying that, you know, giving me my date and all that kind of stuff?
I would definitely have a
Okay.
conversation with the
Okay, okay.
man you bought it from.
Do what now?
I would definitely have a conversation.
Oh, I will be, don't worry. I will.
Thank you.
Because he's also lives behind me and he's got 2 trailers on his property. But I can't have them on mine. So y'all wanna go check his out if you want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we just will.
Just saying.
We're watching what is happening there, and so being concerned, we're going to definitely keep our eyes on that. And if we have a problem with Mr. Surratt following the rules,
We can handle
we'll
that.
make good notes.
I'm
about
sure
that.
he'll know before you get back. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you
All
very
right,
much. So, out this.
y'all share your contact. Risk management, ready?
First of all, I'd like to say, we got to looking back, this is our 20-year anniversary
Wow.
of being able to help Rankin County.
Congratulations.
And it has been a prestigious honor to say that y'all have entrusted your insurance to us.
Hey, and you've got a lot more great.
I've got a lot more like over great on it.
Well, it's
But we
kinda
did, we
wanting
started in
a 20th
2004.
Anniversary cup. You got any
And
20th
Paul-
anniversary cup?
Paul, never been there.
Yeah, we kinda want some of them.
We need to get some.
Yeah.
But, give me the hand.
Guys, we've got 2 different things to go over, so, as Guy said, we serve you guys in 2 different ways. We serve as a consultant on parts of the insurance that we don't write, and we serve you as your agent for your law, legal liability, and your public officials liability, and your workers' compensation. And so, most of it's coming up November 1, and we've got the renewals, and we wanted to go over with you guys.
Let me pass that.
There's the rate,
Insurance prices going down.
yeah.
They
Well,
did go up.
some of them,
Say that.
some of them didn't go up too bad.
Some went
Um,
Some of them go up.
No. And what you're looking at is, you're gonna be looking at, different lines of insurance and the rates from last year, the average rates, and then the rates for the renewal. And then I've also got a column in there from what the insurance industry was projecting the rates to do and what yours actually did. You know, one thing, in public entity sector, the marketplace has contracted a lot. And I think y'all remember last year we had a quote from Massett that wasn't as competitive, and they have actually stopped taking in new business.
We reached out to them, that was one of the first ones, just to see if they wanted to quote it again, even though they were quite a bit higher last year. And he said, well, they're not even
They're not
looking at
taking any
anything,
new
they're not taking any new business.
So that also creates an issue with, you know, just trying to find good coverage out there. Now, the insurance companies that have quoted you this year are the same ones we had last year. Travelers Insurance Companies on most of it, and then we've got Kinzel Insurance Company on the law legal, and Richmond National on the public officials. One thing I wanted to just share with you, you know, when we look at the marketplace, the one area that's still kind of leading the tail wagging the dog is the law legal liability. And part of the issues that we have are, you know, there's a perception out there that's not a great perception of policing. There's also this social inflation factor that's out there that people, you know, want to get paid. And then we've got some ongoing claims that we're dealing with still that hadn't been settled. So those are some things that just kind of played into the issues we had with the law legal. You know, and then we looked at, is it an option even to look at self-insurance? But guys, on most of this stuff, other than the law legal, you're paying below market prices on that.
Well, we actually reached out to a guy that we used to work with and we did some self-insurance programs. And, was going through it with him, and he was like, when we told him the premium, he lit up. He was like, yeah, premium level's there. When we got to sharing the rates with a 25-cent rate on property,
Yeah.
with $1,300 per unit for the police cars, for the dump trucks, for everything running down the road, he was like, no. He's like, there's no way. I mean, it sounds like a good idea when you hear the premium, but when you get down to the
Well,
nuts and bolts of it,
there's a lot of things that go into play when you're doing a self-insurance plan. And one's hiring an actuary, one's hiring a TPA company to handle your claims.
reinsurance.
Buying reinsurance. Also, you're gonna have to fund a loss fund, which is usually gonna be 75 to 100% of what your premium would have been. You also have to hire a CPA to audit the plan. There's a lot of things that go into it. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done, but some of the rates that you're paying right now are very good. On the property, on the volunteer fire department, you've got a program there that's covering the whole 9 yards, and your average rate on the power units on the fire department is $1,987 a unit.
You wanna
It's
go through
really,
these
really
real
good.
quick?
Yeah,
So
let's go through
we're
that.
going up
We're gonna get to this.
23%. Is that the bottom line?
Well, I'm gonna show you this. We will go through each line real quick and just, you talking about the total?
Yep.
No,
I don't think it would leave that.
no.
We got it per line right here.
It's less than 10% increase.
Total across the board,
10?
less than 10.
Less than 10%. Actually, on some of the rates, they actually went down when you consider the rating mechanism. So like the general liability went down 18% in the actual rate, because that's based on your expenditures, your budgeted expenditures, which went up this year. The law legal actually went down in rate because you've got more employees. They base it off numbers of employees. And so it went down almost 9%. And public officials went down almost a little over 10%.
Now,
Okay, this first page doesn't reflect that, but all right.
well, I want, another thing we're saying, I know, we got some new supervisors, and I know y'all know, but we got a full package of everything for y'all. And if y'all get to looking through it and want Paul and I to come back and individually go through it, call us, and we'll be happy to do that, you know that, so.
Yeah, so the property and equipment insurance is with Travelers Insurance Company. It went up 15% on the rate, and some of the valuations went up a little bit. So that's the reason why it went up some. The auto insurance went up just a little bit over the prior year, and the rate went up 9%, 9.5%.
Is that on claims, do you think, football?
On the auto, yeah, well, part of it's just the market conditions too. Because, you know, what they're
Yeah.
saying 5 to 30% on auto. And we're seeing all kinds of crazy increases on auto. And I know y'all don't have log trucks, they're paying $15,000 to $20,000 per unit.
Wow,
And y'all's per unit rate is $1,300.
that's good.
Yeah.
So we do have, from time to time, guys, we're gonna have stuff that pops up. We'll have a dump truck that throws a rock, hits a windshield, that's claim. We'll have pothole that rattles the undercarriage.
Blow a
and
tire out.
Blows a tire out, that's claim. So you see the claim themes from time to time, it's unavoidable, it's gonna happen.
Right.
And that gets reflected, from time to time, it gets reflected, that's why I asked Paul, is this claims based? But it sounds more like industry.
It's market conditions.
Market conditions.
And you get into the claims too. So,
Is that the law and legal, is that why we went so much up on law and legal claims end? With,
well, not just that, but you get the Google searches out there and companies are looking at that. And at the same time, they're getting hit with that all across the country.
That's all over. I mean,
And
everywhere
so
you look,
they're-
I mean,
They're
that's,
retracting, they're saying, hey, we don't want this line of insurance anymore because we're getting hit with claims all over the place.
So we're not gonna talk about specifics,
Yeah.
right? We're in the public meeting. So
Okay.
just keep it real general, but here's the general reality. We have claims history. We're working through that claims history. You have prior carriers who are no longer our carrier, who are still responsible for some of those claims. You have a new carrier that picks up from a date certain coming forward that is covering any new claims that come along.
Right.
And so we're now tracking with a new carrier, and our claims history is a prior carrier, and they know about it, and that's why it's priced the way that it is. But eventually, we're gonna see the older claims get resolved and roll off.
Right.
So a new day can come, we just need to be mindful about
Okay.
claims history moving forward. Okay?
yes, sir.
There's just a little bit of a long tail on getting those claims
Yes.
seen about, you know,
Yes.
settled.
but
So-
as a whole, once you look at it and you see, and we're going from different lines, but $1,300 for the dump trucks running up down the road, police cars running up down the road. You know, I guarantee you, everybody sitting in this room is paying more than $1,300, and you don't have these kind of limits.
Yeah.
So the rates are great. We're just insuring a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Rankin County's a big county.
Yeah. No doubt.
All right, thank you.
Everything on the, I mean, again, everything was good. We pushed the agents and, they went back and this is probably the second iteration of the quote. So we've gotten a little bit better.
One thing real
Yeah.
quick, that's gonna be a little new to us all, and we did a sort of example showing where to help. It's in the very bottom of this sheet in pink.
So your wind hail deductible on your property, your buildings and contents. Last year, it was $100,000. This year, Travelers did a 1% wind hail deductible. And a lot of companies are doing percentage deductibles now. What happens is, you've got some buildings that are pretty high value, like the new court center, this building, the jail, and that 1% can be a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at the sound like when you just say 1%, but it could be a good bit of money. So what we did was, we did an example here of some buildings that are in this kind of general location. If we had a tornado, for instance, and these buildings were taken out, or there was significant damage, then the page that you're looking at, this number right here would be your deductible amount per building. So you got it subject to a minimum of $100,000 deductible for wind hail. And then some of these buildings actually went over that. And so that total for these 6 buildings would be $889,000 deductible. But we've got a wind buy down option here. What you can do is you can buy your wind deductible down, and it's per occurrence, meaning that you have one deductible, $100,000 deductible, and it doesn't matter how many buildings are affected. You know, think about Marquette Road. I mean, we got 6, 7, 8 buildings on Marquette.
I think we use this location as
Yeah,
an
we use
example.
this kind of.
But
campus
Marquette would be
here.
the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so if something come through and got Marquette and this, still 100,000.
$100,000.
One,
Yeah.
as long as it's one tornado.
Yeah, right, we don't need to have two.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'll just say, people purchase this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the way this works is, if you look at it, so you got $800,000 exposure, and if you take the $100,000 deductible off, then the company pays $789,000.
Yeah.
And I know it's expensive, but, you know, we've got a lot of storms happening, we've had a lot of, well, we've had some issues in Brandon with storms before. I think it's worthwhile.
Talk later about it.
Sir? Yeah, yeah, so
That's later.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Anything else?
And again, if y'all have any questions, if y'all wanna look through that, want us to run back to go over it with anybody, we'll be happy to do that.
So this is informational through public content. He has on his section where you would act, if you're in a position to act, you'll be acting under his section later.
Okay.
So most of these policies
Hey,
all
so
come up.
where's the payment for this, the wind policy? Or the buy down deductible, what's the cost of that?
It's at $118,000. Right here.
At the bottom. No, you don't have to pay.
I don't have that.
Flip over.
Keep
Probably the first
There
one.
it is.
Shit. All right.
Everything comes up November 1, except for the public officials liability, it comes up 12/1. But we went ahead and got the amount for it, so we'll go ahead and propose it at the same time.
The only thing we're lacking is a work comp, and it'll be
Comes up
January
January
1. We'll be back prior to that.
Sorry, so explain this to me one more time, man.
Okay.
This $118,000 is a new
Yes,
insurance that we're taking on. We've never paid $118,000 before.
right.
But you've never had the deductible like it is, and all these insurance
So they went
companies
to
are
1%
doing it now.
rather than.
Subject to 100,000 minimum. So
Right.
you got a 1% on each building. So it's, instead, this is $100,000 per occurrence, meaning that you could have one tornado come through and destroy several buildings, and you'd have $100,000 deductible.
Per building.
No.
Overall,
$100,000 deductible. Yeah, cause otherwise I wouldn't even come in here with it. Yeah. That's the only thing, we're just trying to minimize the deductible hit, if you want to.
We went through Stephen Wallace and told him to get that, since he had the property portion, it would be.
All right.
Yeah, I'll probably get with you and let you go over, you know, the whole book and explain
Okay.
it to me well.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be okay.
Absolutely, anytime, let us know, we'll do whatever we want to do.
Right.
All right.
Appreciate y'all's time. And
Do we wanna move down to this section, or, so they,
Totally up to you guys. Y'all are
key.
Or we can wait on y'all in case you have any more questions after you had time to think about it.
The October 31 meeting, if y'all
No.
want to send this in, or we can go
We-
ahead and remove the insurance.
I think we're okay with doing it. I mean, at this date, we don't really have, I don't wanna try to go out and beat pennies to death.
I don't know, man, 118,000 ain't really pennies.
Well,
Well,
I'm
that's
talking
not-
about when you
that's the
start,
option.
when you start
Yeah.
comparing it to
Right.
somebody else.
Yeah, I got you.
If we decide not to do the,
You don't have to do the wind buy down.
can we add it before November 1?
Yes.
Want to go that route?
Yes.
All right.
Y'all can move on all
If
this other.
something happens, such as a hurricane, they're not gonna add it before, you know, I mean.
Well, we have, before, the policy doesn't start until November.
It's not gonna be available.
I didn't wanna do like the man selling the trailer. What are you gonna do?
All right, y'all wanna just wait till we get the key section then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You want us just to hang out here in case there's a question?
If you want to.
Okay.
All right. Old business. We have a motion to approve old business minutes from October 7th.
So moved.
Scott makes a motion.
Second.
Brad seconds a motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Brad makes a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Sid seconds a motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, Mr. Pittman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pittman.
All right, I'm here to ask for the authority to advertise for the, semi-annual bids for the asphalt, bridge, scrub, and the annual and semi-annual.
I'll make a motion to approve
Items 1 through 9.
1 through 9.
All right, Brad makes a motion.
Second.
Jay seconds a motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Parker, come on down. Good morning.
First item we have, Mr. President, item A is stormwater detention restoration, hydrologic restoration at Live Oaks. That's program element 3.02 in our ARPA program. We recommend approval of payout number 4 from Hodges Land Services, $137,057.68, and authority to issue that check.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad makes a motion approved. Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2, Mr. President, is our ERBR 6101 project, Midway Road Bridge. That project is complete, and we're recommending final payment in the amount of $560,007.83 under purchase order number 241326 to Hemp Hill Construction Company, and authority to issue that check.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item C, Mr. President, is the watershed protection at Pine Brook, program element 2.02 in our ARPA program. We're recommending approval of payout number 2 from Southeastern Pipeline and Environmental Services, $501,266.49, and authority to issue the check.
Got a motion? All right. Scott makes a motion.
Second.
Jay seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item D, Mr. President, is Gunner Road Improvement Project Phase 2. We're recommending approval of payout number 6 to Hemp Hill. There's a typo there, not from Ms. Samantha, but from Chris Bass. It's $156,739.11. Chris was trying to beat him out of $1 for some reason. $156,739.11, and authority to issue that check.
I make a motion.
Sid makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
President.
Parker, before you, hold on a minute before you get, when are they gonna start on the ditch there by below John Houston, you know, rocking it?
The ditch that perpendicular?
Right.
Are you talking about
The one that goes.
at the bridge?
Right. No, not at the bridge.
The other.
The other one by the culverts.
The last time we talked, it was gonna be about 6 weeks. That's been 2 weeks ago, so they're probably still a month out on that.
Okay. All right.
Tim's released. All right, Mr. Slay.
First item under my section, well, the first two, items A and B, would be to set public hearings for October 31, 9 a.m. This will be for a couple of, well, one's a nuisance consideration, one's the conditional use permit on the fireworks stand.
Make a motion to set A and B for October 31st.
Brad makes a motion.
Second.
Scott seconds motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item C and D, Mr. President, is to set public hearings for the 4th of November at 9. That's for a rezoning request and a conditional use permit. I'd ask for one motion on that, on item C and D.
So moved.
All right, Scott makes a motion to
Second.
approve C and D. Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, item E, we took care of in public comment with Ms. Phillips, and so we don't need to address item E. Item F is consideration of potential action to adopt a board order that clarifies that the streets of the condominium complex known as Wood Lake and East Point of Wood Lake, located in Supervisor District 2, are private streets, not public streets, and directing that a copy of the board order be recorded in the land records and provided to the mapping department. This situation developed, interestingly, a long time ago. A subdivision was put together that is a condominium complex subdivision that's near North Shore Causeway in Scott's district. That complex was developed for private streets, and all of that was reflected on probably 5 out of 7 of the plats that were filed of record. The language delineating that the streets are private is on each of those plats, very clearly outlined on the plat. They're private streets. And as the subdivision developed, certain segments of those private streets were reflected on those plats. And when you get all the plats together, you have the whole development that you can look at, and you can see all of the access drives that serve the entire condominium complex. It's all designed to be private. They are actually concrete streets, so they don't meet any of the county specifications to begin with. So it was clearly understood from day one, this would be a private development with private streets. The issue is that 2 of the plats, for whatever reason, have street segments that connect to the other private streets. They're interior to the development. They don't connect to any public street. They are segments of the access drives inside the condominium development. Two of the plats reflect what I'll call our standard language that we see on subdivision plats, where the developer is designing the streets to be public. And so there was an error on the plats that reflected these disconnected private street segments somehow became inherited public streets. And so this action today will be to clarify for anybody that has any questions and to put it into the land records so that there won't be any confusion out into the future. Every street that's reflected on each of the plats that are reflected in your board order are private streets, regardless of what may be reflected on the plat that was filed. We are correcting that now on the record. So that's what I need a motion to adopt that board order and to carry out the intentions of the actual item on your agenda.
Make them so moved.
All right, Scott makes a motion.
I'll second.
Brad seconds motion. Any other discussion?
Can I, just for clarification, so we're going to take all those concrete roads over there?
No.
No,
say
this
they're
is-
That's what we're saying. We're
I
not.
mean, right,
Staying private.
so, all right. Okay.
That this board order only reflects the subdivision development that is
Woodland.
east, what's it called?
East.
Wood Lake and
Wood
East
Lake.
Point of Wood Lake. There's like 2 or 3 phases of the development,
So
but
those
they're,
are all those apartments, right, or condos?
Condos and like garden home.
Yeah.
they've always been private, Jay. They all have white signs. There's not really any confusion, except that there are a couple of plats that indicate some weird discrepancy. And so we're clarifying, that clearly was an error. The streets never, they don't connect to any public road.
We haven't
They are-
been maintaining.
We haven't been
No,
maintaining them, and
not done anything.
it's interior to the development.
What?
Okay.
Well, let's, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
By the way, the board order also says that if at any point in time the streets are brought up to county standards, you do have the ability as a board to accept those for public maintenance, if they are ever brought up to county standards.
All right.
Item
G.
Item G, Mr. President, is an authorization of the board president to execute an agreement between Rankin County and Integrated Payment Solutions, also known as Paystar. This will be for credit card processing services in the office of the Rankin County Tax Collector. So we just need a motion to approve that. This will result in a lower per transaction cost for your constituents.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right. Jay makes a motion, Scott seconds motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Well, do we know what that number would be?
Do we know what that number would be, Ms. Axel?
2.35 instead of 3. Isn't it? Oh, okay.
Plus, they just have other features that we can't get right now that'll make it more efficient for customers.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
You're done? Are you finished?
I got one item to add, if I may. It just won't take me just a second.
Sit down, Keith.
This is really kind of informational, but, and I want to talk to the board about it. Normally, I would do this in executive, but Mr. President, I've been warned to avoid executive session if at all possible. So I'm going to
That's
go ahead and
not
talk
true.
about this.
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm not saying who warned me. I'm just saying it was clearly demonstrated that I don't need to take us into executive. We have a tendency to stay too long. So this is an item that the board will be familiar with. Willowbrook Court. This is in Castle Woods. Y'all will recall that we got sued by a property owner that has property that fronts on Willowbrook Court. That lawsuit was defended vigorously. The resolution of the lawsuit was that the county will do only what it's legally authorized to do, which is to act inside the public right-of-way. You authorize the correction of a curb inlet that is on Willowbrook Court inside the public right-of-way, and we did that. We hired a contractor to go in and to correct that curb inlet to address the situation that is drainage out there, to try to keep water off of Willowbrook Court. This is the street where the FedEx guy or the UPS guy was photographed, and the water was basically halfway up the side of his delivery vehicle. Y'all remember all that? And so what happened was, as a result of your action to correct that curb inlet, we saw a drastic improvement in the way that the storm water drains in that area. Your work worked. It got done what needed to be done. At the same time, the litigant, the plaintiff in the lawsuit, the private property owner, hired somebody to go out and to do work on his private property. And that contractor, we think, not 100% sure, but that contractor helped himself to your new curb inlet and walked his equipment over the top of your new curb inlet and cracked your new curb inlet. Damaged it. We have photographs of the broken concrete that had just been installed. And so what I would like is a authorization, if you're willing to add this item. So we just discussed it. I'm asking you to add an action item, which is to authorize contact with the responsible party and to seek recovery of the cost to repair the curb inlet.
So that would be the owner of the property, right?
Could be, it could be, Jay. I just need to engage and figure out and get some help figuring out who caused the damage and what is the cost to effect the repair. And so I would just need a motion to authorize engagement on that, and if necessary, to go farther and to litigate to get our money back.
Mr. Slade, do we need to make a motion to add this to
That's
the
right.
agenda
Yes.
first?
Yes,
All right, add it to this one,
yes, sir.
this one.
Is that your motion?
That's my
All right.
motion, to add it to the agenda.
Okay.
I second that motion to add.
All right, Scott makes a motion to add, we call this a Willowbrook,
Willowbrook Court curb damage.
okay.
Yeah, I'll say, it definitely is damaged.
All right, Scott makes a motion to engage in researching
Recovery of damages, yes, sir.
liability.
That'll be good enough,
Willowbrook
Steve.
repair curb damage.
Yes, sir.
All right, and you seconded.
Well, that was to add, but now if he's gonna make a motion to.
He,
Yeah.
all right. Scott makes a motion to add,
Yes,
Brad seconds a motion. All in favor to add? Aye. All right, it's added now. Do I have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir, motion.
All right, Scott makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Brad seconds a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Now, Mr. Hicks, do you have
Yes,
something
sir.
else?
Yeah, we're good, we're good. I will say that if the board
I do.
wants to talk about
Yep.
a matter that involves personnel, we need to do that in executive.
I got one that's probably the same one you're talking about.
I got one. It's probably not
I'll
the
be
same
very
one
quick.
y'all talking about.
I don't have one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Item A is approval of pay app number 1. This is to, from Important Construction. This is for work at Reservoir East. It's in the amount of $469,224 and authority to issue that check.
Well, that's a lot of money.
Yep, it is a lot of money.
And what district's that in?
That'd be
That's in
mine.
District 4.
District 4.
It's-
Oh.
Yeah, right beside Reservoir East, actually, but I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Scott seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. This is ARPA money.
Yes, sir. Item B is also another ARPA project. This is going to be at pay app number 1 to Fordyce Construction, and this is for work at Terra Road ditch improvement. It's in the amount of $77,179 and authority to issue that check in District 3.
I'm
All right.
making a motion to approve.
Brad makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Sid seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, we've made all of our adjustments. We're asking for approval of the amended budget, close out fiscal year '24.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, Jay makes motion. Scott seconds motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, we loop back around to our insurance discussion, and I would ask the board, the first 3, A, B, and C, are pretty much straightforward. If we can go ahead and be ready to approve those, we can go ahead and take action on those 3.
Motion approved.
Jay makes a motion to approve. Sid seconds that motion. Any other discussion? I do have, on this, we, no, I wanna ask, is this something we can handle at our next meeting, as long as, before what date?
I don't think A, B, and C, nothing's gonna change on those.
I'm talking about the last one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and approve A, B, and C.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We probably could.
We're not, I mean, by not approving that one, are we having any liability, or are we having a gap without insurance?
They're asking if we approved it on October 31st, are we still good on the property, the general liability and automobile?
We can, yeah, if we get an approval on October 31st, then we can request a binder on that date. Is pushing it, but yeah.
All right, what's your advice? One, A, B, and C?
Let's finish up A, B, and C, we'll talk about that.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to approve A, B, and C?
Jay.
Jay did.
Jay makes a motion.
Sid.
Oh, you, oh, wait, okay.
It's all in favor.
All right, now then.
All
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now.
Okay. Item D is our general liability and auto insurance. This is the one that involves the option to get the wind deductible. We can table this item until October 31st meeting if
if you want to.
I'd like to approve as presented without the wind deductible for now.
And then we wanna add it, we can add it.
We can add it on 31st if we want to include the wind.
Right.
Can I ask a silly question? How is the wind discussion not a part of C?
It should have been part of C.
It is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so we need to clarify that what happened on C, is what Jay just said.
Oh, the property.
You're approving the property component at the moment without consideration of taking down the wind deductible as quoted. That's what happened with C. Is everybody hear that?
Yeah.
All right, so
Do we need
what,
to-
if anything, needs to happen with D? Are there any contingencies to D?
No.
Any concerns about D? This is general liability and auto.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Okay, can we
All right,
approve
so-
D like we did A and B?
I make a motion to approve D on general liability insurance automobile.
All right, Sid makes a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Brad seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I think we just clarified that item C did not include the wind deductible by now.
And if we want to add that on 31st, we can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So just make sure that's back on the agenda for 31st.
And it's a separate policy anyway. so
Okay.
We'll just.
Technically could add it whenever.
Okay.
Not after the fact,
It'd be
though.
better to add it together.
Before the damage.
I'm sure there's a period there where, a waiting period once it's implemented.
Brian will keep us informed of when to add it, right? When that song's coming up. You'll let us know, yeah, when to add it. Make that phone call. Right. Yeah.
Special board meeting.
Do you have anything else, Keith?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Guys, can I just say one thing? Regarding the wind deductible policy, if we get into a situation where there's an impending hurricane or something, that
It's gonna be on potato.
until it's passed, yes.
So those is, we're looking at now?
No, they're over there
Okay. For now.
for now, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Do we have any additional business? All right. We do have a need to go into executive. So
I'll make a motion going.
personnel and what? Do we have anything else on personnel?
I think just personnel, as far as I'm concerned, that's all I'm gonna talk to y'all about.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion going to
Just-
executive session for personnel reasons.
Discuss the need to go into executive personnel. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Brad made the motion, Scott second the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, now then, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion going to executive session.
Brad makes a motion.
I'll second.
Scott second.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.